Obasa returns as Lagos Speaker as Miranda steps down after 49 days in office. NNPC crashes petrol price to 860 naira per litre to rival Dangote refinery as price war intensifies. Oyo State government under pressure as it receives Bodija explosion report. And on the foreign scene, ECOWAS team leaves Guinea-Bissau after threat of expulsion. Hello, good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Lagos, where the Lagos State House of Assembly has witnessed a dramatic turn of event as Mojisola Miranda has resigned as the Speaker after 49 days in office. Miranda took office as the House Speaker after Mudashiru Obasa was impeached by the lawmakers on January 13. Miranda, who represents Apapa Constituency 1, announced her resignation at plenary, after which lawmakers immediately re-elected her as the Deputy Speaker of the Assembly. Following her resignation, Mudashiru Obasa was reinstated as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Prior to the plenary, there was a closed-door meeting outside of the chamber. Now, the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Lagos State, Cornelius Ojelabi, who was at the meeting held within the Assembly premises with Obasa and Miranda in attendance. The reinstatement of Obasa followed a meeting held on Sunday with stakeholders and leaders of the APC, including Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State.
We are the representative of the good people of Lagos with a mandate to protect our democracy and ensure good governance. I am a good student of political history, and in this regard, I know that this is a point at which, as your leader, I have to make this selfless sacrifice to resign in order to protect this institution. With your unflinching support, I made history as the first female Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly.
We want to assure Lagosians that for us, we have resolved and determined to serve their interests and protect their interests always. Our major responsibility is to represent them, and that we have been doing. So I'll also add this, that what is happening here today shows that Lagos State House of Assembly is very capable, and it's a house of integrity, a mature house that has internal mechanism to resolve in the interest of the institution and our party.
Well, elsewhere in River State, the 27 members of the State House of Assembly, led by Martins Ameole, on Monday issued a 48-hour ultimatum to Governor Siminalayi Fubara to present the 2025 State Appropriation Bill. The 48-hour ultimatum came few days after the Supreme Court judgment ordered Martins Ameole and the 26 other members of the House to resume seating as the legitimate members of the House of Assembly in River State. The ultimatum was issued by the lawmakers during its plenary in Port Harcourt on Monday. Governor Fubara had on January 2nd, 2025, signed 1.1 trillion naira 2025 River State budget into law after it was presented to the Victor Oko Jumbo-led House of Assembly. Governor Fubara had, in a statewide broadcast on Sunday, said that he would implement the Supreme Court judgment without reservation after studying the content of the certified true copy of the judgment. In the meantime, there was the presence of heavy security at the GRA Assembly quarters, where the lawmakers are using as their temporary chambers. The Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited has announced a reduction in the pump price of PMS, commonly known as petrol, to 860 naira per litre. This decision comes amid an intensifying price war among major marketers and independent petroleum dealers, as well as the fluctuations in global crude oil prices. Now, the new price, which took effect on Monday, marks a significant drop from the previous average price of 920 naira per litre, offering relief to millions of Nigerians grappling with the high cost of living. The reduction by NNPCL, the country's largest fuel supplier, has sparked a wave of competitive pricing among private marketers. Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals Limited had last week reduced its ex-depot price of petrol from 890 naira per litre to 825 naira per litre. The reduction marks the second price cut in February this year. Dangote, in a public notice on the price slash, announced 3 filling stations in Lagos, which include MRS, to sell at 860 naira per litre, AP at 865 naira per litre, and Haydn at 865 naira per litre as its partner takeoff stations. Staying with that development, the management of Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals has said it would absorb the 16 billion naira loss by refunding 65 naira per litre to marketers, so Nigerians will benefit from cheaper petrol. In a statement issued over the weekend, the refinery says it will refund customers who purchase petrol at the rates higher than what was advertised from any of its key partners, that is AP, Haydn or MRS across the country. This move follows the refinery's recent reduction of its gantry price from 890 naira per litre to 825 naira per litre. The refinery stated that this is part of its ongoing efforts to ensure that Nigerians are the primary beneficiaries of the price reduction and is in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which aims to stimulate the Nigerian economy. The refinery confirms it will refund 65 naira per litre on the over 200,000 metric tons of petrol purchased by marketers at the old gantry price of 890 naira per litre before the new rate of 825 naira per litre. Tragedy struck in Zamfara as 21-year-old Zara Abubakar Shehu, a student of the Federal University Gusau, died in captivity after months of her abduction, despite her family paying the said ransom. Zara was kidnapped alongside 2 of her siblings from their home in the Damba area of Gusau on November 3rd, 2024. The abductors initially demanded the sum of 35 million naira, but later agreed to the sum of 10 million naira ransom. However, after collecting the said ransom, they imposed additional demands of 4 motorcycles and 4 cartons of engine oil. After months of desperate efforts, the family secured the items, only to be told that Zara had died in captivity and was buried 2 days earlier. She was the only daughter to her mother. While police in Zamfara State have yet to confirm this development, multiple sources, credible sources, including security analysts Zagazola Makama, verified this development to newsmen. At least 4 students residing in the Paris quarters behind the Federal University Dutz-Ima in Katsina State have been abducted by suspected bandits. A resident told newsmen that the incident took place on Sunday at about 2:20 a.m. when the hoodlums, in their numbers and armed with sophisticated weapons, invaded the area in disguise and whisked away 4 persons. Although the police spokesperson in the state and the government officials are yet to release an official statement, it was gathered that security operatives were immediately mobilized to the scene after receiving a distress call, but the hoodlums had escaped with their victims. Dutz-Ima is one of the security frontline local government areas in Katsina State, grappling with banditry and cattle rustling despite security and government interventions to restore peace in the area. In other security-related news, gunmen have reportedly killed 12 persons in Kebbi and Benue states. The gunmen, suspected to be Lakurawa terrorists, killed 6 persons and rustled unspecified number of cattle when they invaded the villages of Baziga and Rausar Kadi in Arewa local government area of Kebbi State. While informing Governor Nasser Idris about the attack, Chairman of Arewa local government area Sani Aliu Taylor says the bandits took off from Matankari and border with Sokoto State, invading the villages and carting away unspecified number of cows. He says the people from the neighboring village of Baziga trooped out to offer assistance during the attack, but one of them lost his life alongside 5 others from Rausar Kadi as they were felled by the bandits' bullet. Similarly, at least 6 persons have been killed, or rather, bodies have been recovered following an attack by armed invaders on Se Ugema, Shul, Mbakesa and Ubam in Ukum local government area of Benue State. Locals said the 6 bodies were recovered as at Sunday morning. A former local government official in Ukum, who also preferred anonymity, says at the time of this reporting, several people remain missing. The police spokesperson for Benue State Police Command, CSP Catherine Anene, said she was not aware of this development. After 17 years in hiding to ship illicit drugs worth billions of naira across the world, the reign of a wanted 59-year-old drug baron, Ogbonnaya Kevin Jeff, has been brought to a halt following his arrest by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at his hideout in Ojo area of Lagos State. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired, who disclosed this at a press briefing in Abuja on Monday, detailed how operatives of its special units operations unit had been on the trail of Ogbonnaya following an Interpol red notice against him and information from the International Intelligence Service of South Korea.
As we have said 4 years ago, when we began the reform of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, our prime targets are drug barons and other important figures that organize drug trafficking rings. About 20 days ago, on Wednesday, 12th February 2024, we achieved that objective in the successful arrest of Ogbonnaya Kevin Jeff, a 59-year-old drug baron. On our part, NDLEA remains committed to ensuring that Nigeria does not serve as a base for international drug trafficking operations.
Watching the news update on Trust TV, still to come. The Oyo State government is under pressure as it receives the Bodija explosion report. More on this and many more stories up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Let's take another look at our headlines. Obasa returns as Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly. NNPC crashes petrol price to 860 naira per litre to rival Dangote as price wars intensify. To Oyo State, where the state government says it has received the report of the Committee on Management and Disbursement of the Bodija Explosion Relief Fund and assured that all recommendations will be implemented. The government used the occasion of the report presentation to urge residents to remain vigilant and security conscious to prevent similar disasters in the future. The report.
The Bodija explosion left victims and their families in a difficult situation, which was made worse by the government's inability to provide adequate assistance. It's been over a month since the anniversary of the explosion, yet, despite the initial promises, the Oyo State government has yet to deliver the support it assured. Hope appears to be on the horizon for the victims of January 16, 2024 explosion, With the presentation of the committee report on the management and disbursement of relief funds for the families of the disaster, which observers say was avoidable, President of the Bodija Estate Resident Association Muyiwa Bangbose and Special Advisor to Oyo State Governor on Security Fatai Owoseni, who are members of the committee, want support for different categories of victims while also calling for strategic measures to curb disaster of this magnitude.
Your Excellency, the work of the committee has been completed, and the report that is being presented to Your Excellency this morning by the committee is in 4 volumes.
Expectations is that, like His Excellency said, the implementation will be expedited. This has waited for too long, 1 year and 1 month. We believe we've done due diligence, the committee, and what we are presenting should be ready to go.
Oyo State government has meanwhile urged residents not to take the issue of security for granted, while also reiterating its commitment towards bringing perpetrators of the dastardly act to justice.
I want to assure on behalf of His Excellency that this report will be looked into very quickly and the recommendations therein will be implemented, because we do not have the luxury of further delay in implementation.
Stakeholders hope that the government will get its act right and extend support to victims of the disaster in the shortest time possible, as many are finding it difficult to navigate this trying economic climate.
Now, various youth groups on Monday placed support for the tax reform bills under consideration at the National Assembly, acknowledging their potential to reshape Nigeria's economy. The bills, Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, the Nigeria Tax Bill, the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill were transmitted to Parliament back in October of last year. Following a public hearing, lawmakers assured Nigerians of a thorough review. Here's the report.
At the National Youth Dialogue on Tax Reform Bills, the Alumni Association Legislative Mentorship Initiative praised the federal government's efforts but urged a balanced approach. Representative of the association, Abubakar Tijani, highlighted key benefits, including a phased reduction in company income tax to 25% by 2026, exemptions for small businesses earning below 50 million naira, and relief for low-income earners. However, he raised concerns about the proposed VAT increase to 15% by 2030, warning that it could worsen inflation and impact unemployed youths. Stakeholders at the event stressed the need to protect Nigerians' tax sovereignty and involve citizens in policy implementation, while urging the government to consider the impact of personal income tax on young professionals and propose reducing VAT to 3.5% to 5% to align with Nigeria's GDP per capita.
The tax reform bills a significant opportunity to reshape Nigeria's economic landscape. Its positive aspects, such as tax reductions for businesses and individuals, VAT exemptions on essential goods and services, and support for small enterprises, demonstrate a commitment to foster growth and alleviating poverty.
When we are discussing our tax reforms, it is impossible for us to execute it without technology. And we must recognize the fact that we must protect our sovereignty, our tax sovereignty at this time. Very important.
Pushing for the reduction in value-added tax is necessary, such that the figures can reflect our GDP per capita reality as of today. And speaking for young Nigerians today, I would like to say we should consider moving for 3.5% to 5% to better reflect our GDP per capita. Thank you.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, who was represented by Rep. Leke Abejide, assured youth groups that their input will be considered before the bills are passed. Chairman of the House Committee on Youth, Rep. Olamiju Alawakala, emphasized the need to update Nigeria's tax laws to address modern fiscal challenges.
To me, I believe if we get it right with the youth, then we have gotten it right with the country. Whatever you present today, I want to assure you, is going to be incorporated into the bill, and we will look at it genuinely, and it will be among those clauses that will be passed on the floor of the House of Representatives.
We, the young people of this country, will make up 60 to 70% of the population of this country. And you are bringing this kind of tax bill, and you're asking, is it important? It's important. Why? Because one, if you look at low-income earners, low-income earners especially will be from the age of 35 downwards. Who are these? I don't know, youths.
In another development, the House Committee on the South-East Development Commission has given its approval for the 2025 budget of the South-East Development Commission, expressing hope that this approval will mark the start of much-needed development in a region that has been overlooked for over 54 years since the end of the Civil War. Chairman of the committee, Chris Nwokota, shared his optimism with reporters after the Commission's budget defense, emphasized that the approval signals the beginning of positive change for the Southeast, particularly in terms of development.
We are aware that since after the end of the Civil War, the Southeast has not been what it ought to be. Remember that at the end of the Civil War, there was this promise that was made to us, that after the end of the war, there was going to be, the 3 R's. Until today, that hasn't been done until this president signed the bill into law.
Nwokota also took the opportunity to commend President Bola Tinubu for signing the SEDC bill into law, noting that with the new budget, the previously neglected Southeast region will now experience greater government presence, particularly in form of infrastructure development. The lawmaker explained that the budget will be focused on addressing the region's significant infrastructural deficits.
To developments on the international scene, a mission from the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS has left Guinea-Bissau, saying the president had threatened to expel it. The team was sent to the country last month to help it reach a, quote, political consensus on how to conduct elections this year. It said it had, quote, prepared a draft agreement on a roadmap for elections and had started presenting it to the stakeholders for their consent. But the team decided to leave early on Saturday after President Umaru Sissoco Embalo's threat. It says it will now present its report to the ECOWAS president, including a proposal for an agreement leading to inclusive and peaceful elections. Embalo has not responded to the bloc's accusation. There's been heightened tension in the country over when his 5-year mandate will end. In sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles have embarked on a short break following their 2-match tour of Cote d'Ivoire. Aliou Zubairu's side engaged in 2 friendlies against Cote d'Ivoire last week. The 7-time African champions defeated their host 2-0 in the first friendly and lost the same scoreline in the second friendly. The Flying Eagles will regroup in Abuja on Monday, March 10, for their final lap of their preparations for the Under-20 AFCON. Nigeria will face Egypt, Morocco and South Africa in Group C. Cote d'Ivoire will host the biennial competition from April 26 to May 18. Well, that is it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. Join us again later at 9 o'clock for the day's latest bulletin. For now, feel free to follow us across our social media platforms to stay in touch. You can also visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news, programs and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Abed. Thank you for your time. We'll see you soon.